Look at the glass rectangle you're holding right now. We treat these devices like the ultimate tools of personal mobility. But the reality is, this phone is a temporary physical prison for the information it holds. So what happens when the hardware itself simply disappears? Long before we carried silicon processors, our communication relied entirely on biology. Pigeons, for instance, possess an organic GPS system. A built-in sensor allows them to detect the Earth's magnetic fields and navigate vast distances. The network was completely natural, and the control belonged entirely to the animal's own brain. As human societies scaled, we replaced those biological pathways with mechanical ones. We built sprawling physical infrastructures, massive switchboards, thick copper wires, and towering relay stations, just to route a single voice message. Information was suddenly tethered to heavy, immovable machines. Moving into the digital age didn't remove that physical burden. Early computing mainframes required entire rooms of spinning tape drives and vacuum tubes to process what a calculator does today. They were environmentally isolated, heavily air-conditioned boxes, separated entirely from the natural world. Over the next half-century, engineers meticulously shrunk those massive tape drives and switchboards down to the nanoscale. We compressed rooms of computing infrastructure into pocket-sized rectangles. Because we can carry them anywhere, we feel completely untethered. But that mobility is an illusion. Your smartphone is hitting a hard wall, defined by the laws of physics. The silicon chips inside generate intense heat that caps their processing speed, and the lithium-ion batteries rely on a chemical reaction that inevitably decays. Plus, the entire system is trapped inside a fragile sheet of glass. We have pushed these materials to their absolute physical limits. You cannot iterate your way out of thermodynamics. To move forward, the physical rectangle itself has to be completely dismantled. The first step in eliminating the phone requires a new material, graphene. It's a single layer of carbon atoms that is thinner than paper, yet 200 times stronger than steel. But its real power lies in how it interacts with the environment. Graphene acts as an ambient energy harvester. It absorbs the natural heat radiating off your body and the ambient light in the room, converting those thermal and photonic changes directly into electricity. By generating its own continuous current, it completely eliminates our reliance on lithium-ion batteries and the electrical power grid. Once the battery is gone, the fragile glass screen follows. The engineering solution is volumetric photonics. Instead of trapping light behind glass, microscopic lasers project outward. The system ionizes the air molecules right in front of you, turning empty space into glowing, interactive pixels you can actually touch. We've now stripped away the physical mass of the device. The battery is ambient energy, and the screen is floating light. Yet there is still one final physical barrier remaining between you and the digital network: your own skin. For decades, our fingertips have been the mandatory toll booths for passing information to machines. To cross that biological boundary, the human-machine interface has to bypass our fingers and move directly to the optical nerve. This is achieved through micro-LED contact lenses. Engineers embed circuits thinner than a human hair directly into a transparent lens. Once it is placed perfectly onto the eye, the system projects high-resolution digital layers directly onto the surface of your retina. Your brain processes the light hitting your retina exactly the same way, regardless of whether it originates from a physical tree or a digital overlay. Because the rendering happens directly inside the eye, the physical and virtual worlds become entirely indistinguishable. By moving the screen inside the human body, the external device ceased to exist as a separate object. We no longer look at a screen, we look through it, and that forces a critical question about where our biology ends and the network begins, especially when the hardware burrows even deeper than our five senses. The final destination for this hardware is the human brain itself. Our nervous system operates on distinct electrical signals. A brain-computer interface reads those biological currents. As a thought forms, the pattern is translated and converted into digital data. By intercepting the signal, the need for physical action, typing or speaking, is entirely eliminated. Data flows via pure, instantaneous thought. This creates a state of synthetic telepathy. There is no intermediary hardware to hold and no screen to look at. A person's individual consciousness is wired directly into a ubiquitous, invisible global network. At this point, the locus of control has completely shifted. This represents an evolutionary leap, where the boundary between the human mind and the digital network dissolves. They now function as a single, unified system. Looking back, the smartphone was never meant to be a permanent fixture in our hands. Its only purpose was to bridge the gap between heavy, isolated machines and our own biology. Now that the physical wall has been erased, we are left to decide if dismantling that barrier gave us ultimate freedom, or if we just permanently surrendered our locus of control to the machine.